Thank you so much for tuning in and welcome to your very own Try It Before You Buy channel with your host Karamullah Kadwani. Today is all about Jubilation XXV versus Jubilation 40 from the house of Amouage. We have been discussing the Prestige collection from the house of Nishane the previous days. So if you still haven't watched those videos, I'd urge you to go watch them after this one. The exceptional extrait here is a 40% all concentrate and retails for an amazing 2050 dirhams. However, having said that, let me add to it by saying a little goes a long way. So we'll do a quick overview, but before we get into the review today, I'd quickly like to get over with the presentation for both XXV. This is Jubilation 40. This is Jubilation XXV. I'm not sure if you can see that. I will try, however, my best to show you the front, the back of the sleeve. And so, as with all the new Amouage presentations, the sleeve comes off like so. And then you're left with this beautiful black box. I do love the black boxes. Check this out. So you have kind of a luxury styrofoam, I don't know what you want to call it, but it's a very soft material. It feels like suede. The bottles fit in snug and they look ultra luxe in the packaging. All my bottles for Amouage, courtesy Amouage for being one of the better customers, if I would want to put it that way, have offered me a free engraving service, and so all my bottles read Karam, my name, with a crown on top. Putting the presentation away, I also would like to share with you a few things that I'm going over right now. I just started getting into the brand Zoologist, and I'm pretty stoked about acquiring Sacred Scarab, as you can see. And my first acquisition from this house some time ago was civet. It is one of my favorite animalic notes, if you were to. Civet was made by Shelley Waddington, and Sacred Scarab made by Sultan Pasha. And if you did not already know, I have a perfume that was created by Russian Adam and Sultan Pasha in collab from the house of Arish Ladore. The name of that perfume was Civet de Nuit, and is vintage vibes, kind of an aldehydic animalic perfume. Civet is basically referred to as a pissy animalic note, and my experience has been nothing short of it. I haven't let that affect my evaluation of the perfume while I was wearing it the other day. And without getting into too much about these perfumes, as today is not going to be about Civet or Sacred Scarab. Rather, today is going to be about Jubilation XXV and Jubilation 40, the exceptional extrait. However, before I get into the review, I just wanted to quickly say is that I don't know if it's just my nose or if it's true, but I get this from Civet. I get this the first time I sprayed it, though it was stronger. My nose is picking up on different facets and nuances right now, but I just cannot get over the fact is the first time I sprayed it, it actually smelled okay. So here's what I'll tell you. I do not want to get into religious discussions or otherwise, but cleanliness is next to godliness, and so we try to keep at our cleanness, and we wash away when we either urinate or take a crap, and we wash it ever so properly, is that there's no residue of or drops of I'm sorry if I'm getting too descriptive about this, but there's no other ways I can explain this. Back in, now I try to stay as clean as possible, because I do like to offer my daily prayers, and for that cleanliness is one of the mandates. Apart from ablution, performing ablution, we also call it wudu in Arabic. But ablution is a process where we kind of rinse ourselves the best we can, flush our nose, take a gargle, clean out everything that's possible in ablution, and the first mandate is that you're clean, you're pure, you don't have either which way. So back in the day, when I was not very particular about I used to love taking showers and putting on perfumes since a very early age. But there came a time where I used to take 2 to 3 showers a day in the summers, and I'd freak out. I didn't like smelling of sweat or otherwise. I tried to smell the best I could. But there came a phase in my life where we'd be out with friends, more college-like days, where we'd be out with friends and we'd take a pee just about anywhere. And cleanliness wasn't the first things on our mind. And so when I would take off my underwears, they'd smell in a particular way that reminds me of the perfume Civet. I don't know if it's just me knowing that it's supposed to be a pissy animalic, but I get that unwashed undergarment kind of vibe from the perfume, say well into the dry down. The first time I sprayed it was very, very prominent, and I couldn't get away from that smell. But I let the bottle sit for a while, and then when I sprayed it, I got something completely different. So I don't know if the perfume wears completely different every time you wear it, but I did get 2 to 3 different experiences while trying out the fragrance, like taking it on for a test drive, if you will. Alright, so as we were saying, the exceptional extract is a 40% oil concentrate and retails for amazing 2,050 dirhams. However, having said that, let me add to it by saying a little goes a long way. A quick overview for both Jubilation XXV and Jubilation 40. So let's get right into this. And though there have been many folks speculating and commenting about reformulations killing the original XXV, as it lacks performance according to them, both projection and longevity. Initially, when I came about Jubilation 40, it came off camphoric-like, not in a bad way. Not in a bad way. Let me explain. Camphor is a white crystalline substance that is derived from the wood of the camphor tree. It has a strong medicinal scent and is commonly used in perfumes, balms, and liniments. In perfumery, camphor is a versatile ingredient that can be used in many different ways to define an exquisite scent. It's like the resin collected from the camphor tree. Legend has it that I love my animalics, and I do love my resins on this channel. Okay, so having said that, here the camphoric quality is more like eucalyptus, and so I was thinking to myself that this was pretty much very, very different from the original, the XXV, and therefore not redundant to have in one's collection. Other exceptional extracts include Reflection 45, Interlude 53, the 40, Epic 46, and now newly released Guidance. I think it's 46, Guidance 46, but please do not quote me on it and correct me if I'm wrong. Do comment in and let me know if I'm wrong about the concentration that Guidance is released with. Also, it's been about 2-3 months now, not like today or yesterday. It's not been as recent a release as today or yesterday. It's about 2 months, I think. I think Quinton Beach is the nose behind that fragrance. So let me tell you a little about the exceptional extracts that make them even more special and for the true fragrance connoisseur to really have in their collection. Each bottle is patiently aged for 10 weeks a process also referred to as masturation and maturation. Another fact, if I may, is that you let it sit after the initial spray for about six months or so, and the fragrance becomes even more complex and multifaceted, resulting in Jubilation 40 capturing the essence of sophistication. What makes Jubilation an exceptional extrait, or Jubilation 40 rather an exceptional extrait? And this will be relevant information for all the exceptional extracts from the house of Amouage for all our upcoming reviews and videos. A fragrance is usually a mix of oil concentrates and an alcohol base. Some fragrances can also contain a bit of water and additives like liquids, UV filters, stabilizers and colorants. Therefore, fragrances with a higher concentration, oil concentration, contains more perfume oils and less alcohol, and vice versa. Here, it is a huge whopping 40%, even going up to 56, which is the highest concentrate for the house of Amouage so far. That is for Epic, so it's named Epic 56. To the best of my knowledge, and for the benefit of others who are not in the know, anything over or at 28% is considered an extrait. Usually, a higher perfume oil concentrate means an increased performance of the fragrance, particularly resulting in a longer lasting scent. But the impact of oil concentration is much more complex and varies depending on each formula. Let us try to break this down further so you may understand fully. Usually a eau de cologne would be 3 to 10%, oil concentrate, eau de toilette, maybe 10 to 15%, say for example, eau de parfums, 15 to 20%, exceptions are there as well. I know for a fact of the highest oil concentrations for EDP, eau de parfum, by the house of Papillon Artisan Perfumes, where Liz Morse uses, say for example, 27.7% oil concentrate for one of her perfumes. I'm forgetting which one. It's either Salamis, Anubis, Hera. I really don't remember what perfume I'm referring to right now, but there is a perfume that almost touches that point where it could be an extrait and she could well overcharge you double the price, but she doesn't. She's an individual who has these values that I so admire her for, and stops at, say for example, 27.7%, where if she kind of reached that 28% by just a few decimals here and there, she could have doubled the price. But she wants it to be accessible to more people at a fair price. Apart from that, if I understand correctly, playing with the oil concentrates can actually change the way a composition comes across, and higher oil percentages necessarily does not mean or equate to a better fragrance, if you will. Having said that, I think 28% and upwards is considered an extrait or a perfume concentration. Here it is a whopping 40%. Also, another thing that I may share with you is a few houses would have these names, but they have nothing to do with the oil concentrates. They might be renditions of that perfume. Like say for example, when you have a kind of a fragrance that you have in your head. Say for example, a creative for a perfume, like who has a basic framework of what he wants the perfume to be, and he goes to a perfumer and asks him to make a certain perfume, and he makes version 1, and the creative is not very happy with the fragrance that he's created, or needs a little bit of tweaks here and there to perfect the composition. He'd go back to the perfumer, there'd be a second iteration, a third, say 47 tries, and after the 47th try, or on the 47th try, the creative is very satisfied with what he has as a product, and decides on going ahead with that product. So say for example, the name of the product was XYZ, they'd launch it as XYZ 47, and that would mean that there were 47 trials of this perfume, and the 47th trial was approved by the creative, and so that is the final product that you get to enjoy. I hope that's clear. If you have any questions, do feel free to add in your comments into the video, and I shall inshallah get back to you at my earliest. We already got into the sleeve part of the presentation, the box in which the perfumes are housed. New Amouage presentations with the sleeve action going on, gold accents for this one. If this doesn't scream uber luxe, I don't know what does. Super complex wearing experience, favorite bottle from the X-Rates, followed up by the new Guidance 46. I like the bottle for reflection. Interlude is just meh. I mean, like the bottle, the color of the bottle. Here, if I may take this off the rotating platform and just show you the bottle for the original Jubilation XXV. I love the bottle design. I do like the details on the original. I do love the details on the original, but then the extra just brings in that special extra like gold accents and all, yeah. And as I was mentioning, they didn't have any place to put the crown or my name on the front side, which most of my bottles have, and so they did it behind for this particular one, as it has a kind of a bottle design coming through, and so there wasn't much space to accommodate my name and so on and so forth. So as I was mentioning, Jubilation 40 Man by Amouage is a woody chypre fragrance. This is a new fragrance. Jubilation 40 Man was launched in 2023. The nose behind this fragrance is Boutron du Chafou. Top notes are blackberry, labdanum, blackcurrant, davana, orange and rosemary. Middle notes are frankincense, broom, bay leaf, cloves, cinnamon, celery seeds and rose. It has base notes of opoponax, patchouli, myrrh, agarwood or oud, more popularly referred to as, moss, gayakwood, cedar, musk, ambergris and cistus incanus. From reading you the notes, I am now realizing that it may very well be the rosemary, giving me that eucalyptus camphoric like vibes when I had first sprayed it. I'd left my bottle for the longest time, and from spraying it now makes for a more complex and nuanced experience. Quite spicy though. Eucalyptus tree like smelling experience immediately after the rains. Fruitiness coming in from the blackberry. XXV enjoys such a legendary status, and I think this should really catch on being one of the more popular releases, if I may. Jubilation 40 I'm referring to. Let's spray this bad boy and I'll give you what I experienced say after 1 to 2 hours. So that's Jubilation 40 as I had showed you. Another point I need to cover after spraying this. So the sprays, you might argue, are you might argue. So that's the magnetic cap, which does not sit if you're trying to place it else otherwise. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see this. But so like say for example that's your bottle and you're trying to put the cap upside, it automatically kind of twists into how it's supposed to be. Yeah, so that's the magnetic cap for the new presentations. Oh man, off the air, it's intense. It's a good strong experience. I can smell it already, and I have a stuffy nose and my allergies are really triggered. I didn't want to spray this, but I wanted to give you a kind of a overview that I'm experiencing after keeping this bottle aside for about 6 to 8 months. The one point that I did want to mention is I had a delivery last week, and I was trying to get into the box, and I had a Swiss knife that my brother had gifted me earlier last year, which I usually use for my couriers and packages that I receive. Unfortunately, I got frustrated and I kept twisting and turning it around, not realizing it. When I tried to dig in to the kind of the courier, the box that I received the products in, the knife kind of twisted and it kindly took a part of my finger off. The doctors did not want to stitch. It was profusely bleeding for a few days. The doctors did not want to stitch this, and so they glued it back together, if I may. I almost took my finger off with that knife, the Swiss knife. It just penetrated and it kept going deeper because I was trying to press into the like courier box. Be careful with your knives. Be careful while opening these packages. Safety first. It is rather painful, and so I'm trying to be more consistent in posting videos every day. But this has kept me from doing that because I need to type out my material, sometimes write it down, and I'm having a tough time not having my index finger work for me. If I may, we shall cut into this after about 2 hours, and I'll let you know my views. Till then, maybe you want to get yourself a cup of tea, coffee, or snacks, you may do so. Yeah, well, so here we are. We're in the 2 to 3, say the first 2 to 3 hours mark. So after an hour spraying it, upon initial spray, I'd like to tell you that it may put you off, but the more you wear it, the more you'd want to wear it. It has an addictive kind of quality. I can tell you this straight off the bat, the keeping the bottle for some time has really done this good, as the camphoric like eucalyptus nuances are not as pronounced, especially after about having worn it for about 2 to 3 hours. After the first 1 to 2 hour mark, I must say, even 3 to 4 hours into the dry down, it gets more ambery, patchouli, moss, smoky, earthy, animalic like nuances and facets to die for. Actually was late to the bandwagon on the original XXV itself, but finished about 30% of the bottle, if you cannot already tell. I'd worn this much of the perfume in the first say week to 10 days. I'd basically layer 3 or 4 of the Amouage fragrances, and this happened to be one of my favorite perfumes of all times. I finished almost 30% within 2 weeks. Have now preserved it since getting my hands on the extrait, and I couldn't wait to get my hands on the extrait though. The actual wearing experience between the original, I mean XXV, and the extrait are just so different. So this is how I do it now. I'll spray the extrait and then overspray the XXV to get both best of both the worlds. Super potent, but might not be accessible to everyone because of the hefty price tag that the extrait comes at. Why I layer both of these is because the extraits usually tend to sit closer, I wouldn't say only to the skin, but closer to if you sprayed your garments on with. It just lasts like for an eternity, but it's kind of more compact, it's kind of more dense, if you will, and it's kind of more close to you, whereas the original XXV is more ethereal. It's more diffusive in the air because it has a lighter concentrate. It travels through wherever you go and wherever you, but both together tremendous. I mean, I love the experience that both of these together, layered together, bring. Let's compare the XXV to the exceptional extrait. XXV I define as a fruity rose oud fragrance, as the name suggests, to celebrate perhaps the royalty in Oman. Quite bright, still luxurious, but a more well-balanced wearing experience, if you will, as opposed to a dark, more complex, nuanced, but still uber luxe, more expensive smelling exceptional extrait. The original has amber, but the extrait is perhaps more ambery, if that makes sense. If I was to make a comparison between another fragrance, another two fragrances from the house of Amouage is Reflection Man the original, and Reflection 45, the exceptional extrait. Those two are much different from one another. These two are perhaps more alike. Dressed up, formal, though anyone may wear anything anywhere, is what we advocate on the channel. The summers though, I prefer the XXV. The exceptional extraits performs like a beast and hence very fall winter appropriate evening time wear, I'd suggest. Jubilation XXV Men by Amouage is an oriental fougere fragrance for men. Jubilation XXV Men was launched in 2007. The nose behind the fragrance was again Bertrand Duchaufour, the master perfumer. Top notes here are blackberry, olibanum, orange, labdanum, coriander and tarragon. Middle notes are honey, gaiac wood, cinnamon, bay leaf, clove, rose, orchid and celery seeds. Base notes of opoponax, agarwood, otherwise known as oud, myrrh, patchouli, cedar, ambergris, immortelle, musk and oak moss. So let's talk about the now legendary status enjoying original XXV. Can't believe it's been 17 years and it's still relevant. It still smells modern. It's still, I mean, the foresight of the perfumer Bertrand Duchaufour, he created this 17 years ago and it's still in the conversation. Makes it to most of the top 10s with all the reviewers and influencers alike. Opens with a bitter orange and blackberry accompanied with a strong dose of myrrh, incense and resins. Labdanum, opoponax, olibanum come hard from the get-go. Oud anchoring this regal, elegant beast. Smoky facets with the incense. Screams elements of a formal scenario. Kind of rejoicing or celebrating a feet-like vibes. Blackberry sweetness makes it a more mass-pleasing fragrance without being overtly sweet. Accompanied with the cinnamon, this is what will bring you the compliments. A draw-in scent. The smoky facets and nuances, not overly smoky though. Just the right amount adds this layer of mystique and intrigue, drawing people closer to you. 30 minutes into the initial spray settles into a well-balanced floral of orchids and rose. Honey starts creeping in, adding a well-balanced complex blend. XXV dries down to a nice opoponax, patchouli, oak moss and ambergris. There's also immortelle which adds to the smoky facets, almost a tea-like scent. The blackberry fades away into the dry down, and like I said earlier, though otherwise may be deemed a winter scent, I've worn this in the obliterating summer heat of Dubai, i.e. the original XXV, and it comes off ever so regal. The way I see it though, it's not just about celebrations, it's about power, it's about authority, it's about a person with this flair and flex who doesn't have to try too hard, but enjoys the cloud, staying far away from the crowd, not trying to be loud, not trying to make a statement, away from the hustle. For someone who's made it in life, wearing it as a daily to exude the status he enjoys. The blackberry and honey, pulling it just enough to making it more acceptable and adding to the allure, more mature, like I said, enjoying the attention and finer things in life. I'm sorry to say this, but this one's definitely not for the fuckboys. Beast mode trying to make a statement. If you haven't been in niche or understand the more complex compositions, this might hit you like a brick, or could very well be the stepping stone into niche. As we say on this channel, try it before you buy it. But on the contrary to that belief, I could very well advocate this one be a safe blind buy for anyone. Again, may not appeal to the younger audience who are looking forward to another beastly fragrance or another blue fragrance or just unlimited flankers that these perfume houses are now cranking out. These were just my thoughts and inspiration. Do let me know your thoughts. Also let me know if you already have this gem of a composition in your arsenal, or if you're interested in at least giving it a try after watching this review. Do share your experiences. And don't forget to comment. Feel free to ask me any questions and I'll try to answer them to the best of my capability. Until the next time, your host Karamullah Kadwani signing out.